right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome into 14-day reset. My name is Kelly, and I am a wife and mama of 3 beautiful, healthy children. I am a former registered nurse. I did emergency room and labor and delivery. I have been with Young Living for almost 10 years. And I am now within just a couple of weeks of finishing certification as an integrative nutritionist. So I'm really excited about that. And something I'm really pumped to talk to you guys about today is protein. Protein. What is it? Why do we need it? What does it do in the body? Why do you need it, especially over the age of 30? Ladies, I'm guessing a lot of you in here, if not all of you, are at least 30 years old. And we're going to talk about some high quality sources of protein and how to tell what those are and how much should you be getting. And then how do you actually get that? And then if I get through that in a timely fashion, we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. Okay. So I hope everyone can hear me and all the things are streaming into Facebook and we're all good to go. Okay. So let's talk about what is protein. Protein is one of the 3 macronutrients that we often hear talked about. So you have protein, fat, and carbohydrates, right? Protein is made up of amino acids. Amino acids are what we call the building blocks of protein. And you have essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. Non-essential amino acids doesn't mean that you don't need them. What it means is that your body makes them from other substrates within your body, right? So your body can make these non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are called so because it is essential that you get them in your diet, okay? So why do you need protein? What does it do in your body? Well, there's a number of things that protein does inside your body. One, obviously, I think a lot of us know protein is responsible for muscle building and repair, which we're going to talk a little bit more about why that's important in a little bit. It's partially responsible for your hormone health. So protein helps regulate our hormones, and we'll go into depth a little bit more about that. Protein helps with immune function. Who knew that? Antibodies, which help us fight against infection and bacteria, are proteins. Did you know that? Antibodies are proteins. Transport and storage, they help with transport and storage. So things like certain proteins like hemoglobin, you guys have heard of hemoglobin, right? That is a protein that transports oxygen in your blood. And they help with structure and function. So for example, collagen is a type of protein that helps with the structure and function of your skin and hair and nails and connective tissue and gut lining and all of that good stuff. So let's talk a little bit about why specifically as you age, you need to increase your protein. Or I don't know that you necessarily need to increase it if you're already eating an adequate amount of protein, but it becomes even more important as you age. You guys, it says my connection is unstable. Can everyone hear me? I hope so. I hope I'm not frozen. Okay. So after the age of 30, ladies, after the age of 30, well, and gentlemen, if there's any gentlemen here, I don't know. But women especially, after the age of 30, we start involuntarily losing muscle mass at a rate of 3 to 8% per decade. That is a lot. So specifically, age 30, perfect. Thank you, Deandra. So ladies, after the age of 30, you will begin involuntarily losing muscle mass at a rate of 3 to 8% per decade, unless you do something about it. Oh, it's telling me that. So that happens unless you do something about it. And there is a lot that you can do about it. So let's talk about 3 reasons over 30, particularly, that you need to prioritize your protein. Okay. So number 1, longevity. as you guys, muscle is the organ of longevity. And without protein, adequate protein, you cannot build lean muscle, okay? Lean muscle is going to keep your metabolism fiery. It's going to help prevent falls. It's going to keep you stable. Do you guys know the rate of morbidity after you take a fall and break a hip? It's really high. It's like 33% of people who fall and break a hip die within 1 year, even if they get it fixed. I know this because my husband is an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in hips. So it's a really high mortality rate. If you don't get it fixed, it's even higher. Okay. So you want to prevent falls. Having lean muscle is going to keep that from happening. You need lean muscle for bone density. As the muscle goes, so the bone goes. So you want to keep muscle, and you need protein in order to build lean muscle. It simply cannot happen unless you have adequate protein. Protein, the second reason is that, so the first reason was longevity. The second reason is for weight management. And this happens for a number of reasons, okay? Protein is the most satiating macronutrient. That means it's going to keep you the fullest, the longest, right? It's going to keep you feeling full. So if you find that you are going back to the pantry for a snack, an hour after you had a full meal, chances are good that you did not have enough protein in that meal, okay? So if you want to keep your weight under control, protein is essential, not just for its satiating effects, but also for its muscle building effects. There's something called the thermic effect of protein. And basically what this means is that your body will utilize about 25% of the calories you consume from protein just to digest and absorb it. That's huge. Compare that to carbs, which I think are around 5%, and fat, which is around 0 to 3%. That's a significant difference, right? So when you eat protein, your body is going to expend a lot of energy just to metabolize that. Protein, the third thing is that protein helps with your hormones, and the hormone and the weight management piece really tie in, because the reason that it helps with hormones specifically is because the more lean muscle mass you have, the more insulin sensitive you have. Guys, a lot of the problems that we are seeing now with weight management, with diabetes, PCOS, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, these are all due in part to insulin resistance. Okay, it's very, very common. In fact, it's estimated that only about 10 to 12% of Americans are metabolically healthy, okay, meaning metabolically flexible, meaning we can use either carbohydrates or fat as a fuel source, right? Many of us are insulin resistant, and there's a lot of things that contribute to that. The number one thing would be the standard American diet, which is really, really high in processed carbohydrates and refined sugar. If you want a one-way ticket to diabetes and weight loss resistance and insulin resistance and PCOS, eat a diet that is rich in processed carbohydrates and refined sugars. Notice I didn't say all carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are not the enemy, but processed and refined carbohydrates kind of are. That doesn't mean you never eat them. It just means they need to be eaten in seriously limited quantities if you want to avoid those things. So the reason, again, that protein is important for that is because protein helps you build lean muscle, and lean muscle helps keep you metabolically flexible, and you want that. Lean muscle makes you more insulin sensitive, meaning insulin will more effectively be able to take glucose from your bloodstream and shuttle it into your cells so that you can use it for energy. Does that make sense? Is everyone tracking with me? Yes, let me see some nods. Okay, good. So the 3 reasons over 30, particularly, that you really need to focus on protein: longevity, hormones, and weight management, okay? So let's talk about how much should I actually get? So the RDA, which is the recommended dietary allowance for protein, is woefully low. It's so low, you guys. This was established in the 1960s and it hasn't changed since. Can you think how far we've come since the 1960s? We've come a long way. Also, you should know that the RDA for any nutrient is not the amount needed for you to optimize your health. It's only the amount needed to prevent deficiency, okay? So when you see like the RDA for vitamin C, that is not the amount that you should be getting in order to keep your immune system happy, right? That's the amount that you need to prevent scurvy. So know that RDAs, when you're looking at them, those are minimum necessary amounts to prevent deficiency. They are not enough to help you thrive, okay? So the RDA currently is about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram. That's about 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. That's really low. For a woman, you're looking at 50 to 60 grams a day, like an average weight woman, that's 50 to 60 grams a day. So the RDA, 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. That's about 50 to 60 grams of protein per day. That's so low, not enough. What most people recommend now, most experts in the field of protein recommend 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So for example, to keep it easy, let's just say 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight, gram per pound of ideal body weight. So for example, if you weigh 130 pounds, then shoot for 130 grams of protein per day. Now, I know that that sounds like a lot. Is that more than any of you are used to getting? Raise your hand if that's more than you're used to getting. Probably. But it is doable, and yes, it is doable. And once you start to do that, you will notice a significant difference in your energy, in your sleep, in your metabolism, in your hunger and satiety. It will make a big difference, okay? So let's talk now about protein quality. So protein quality is very, very important. And it is only a discussion of amino acid structure, okay? It is not an emotional discussion. It is not an environmental discussion. It is not a moral or philosophical discussion. It is a matter of only amino acid profile, okay? So when we're looking at protein, we are looking for a complete amino acid profile. And where do you find that? Don't shoot the messenger. You find it in animal-based proteins, okay? Now, I know some of you are probably vegetarian, and that's okay. There are ways that we can work around that, but understand that the highest quality protein sources are going to be protein sources that are found from animal products. So I'm talking high quality dairy products, eggs, poultry, pork, beef, bison, venison, fish, okay? And of course, I'm not saying don't eat plants. I eat lots of plants, but I don't get my protein from them, okay? And if you do, again, that's okay. We can work around it. But the reason that animal-based proteins are going to be a higher quality source of protein for you is a number of reasons. One, it's about bioavailability. So bioavailability is the efficiency with which your body can extract nutrients from the food that you eat and utilize them within your body, okay? There are some issues with plant-based protein, but the bioavailability of animal proteins is about 99%, 95 to 99%, meaning your body can use about 95 to 99% of the animal protein you consume and incorporate it into your body, okay? And help your body to use it, to build lean muscle, and do all of the other things that it does, right? Plant protein has a bioavailability of somewhere around 70 to 80%. So that's the amount of plant protein that your body can use. So it stands to reason that you'd have to consume more, right? Plant proteins also come with digestibility issues. Our bodies don't as easily digest and absorb protein from plants. We digest and absorb phytonutrients from plants pretty efficiently, but not proteins, okay? Another issue is that, back to that hormone and insulin resistance discussion, if you are getting the bulk of your protein from plants, so let's say you're shooting for 30 grams of protein, you can get 30 grams of protein in 4 ounces of chicken, right? But to get 30 grams of protein from quinoa and lentils, you're going to have to eat significantly more. And that is by nature a much higher or richer source of carbohydrates, right? So if you're looking to reverse insulin resistance, which many of us are, because I promise you, many of you, if not all of you who are experiencing weight loss resistance, it is from insulin resistance. If you want to reverse that, you have to really be very aware of your carbohydrate intake. So it's not impossible, but it is very difficult to get the amount of protein that you need to stimulate your muscle building while doing it, getting that amount of carbs as well, because it's just a lot. So it can be done. And in fact, my best friend is a vegetarian, and she and I are going to work together to get some plans together. She's the healthiest vegetarian I know. And she doesn't eat any processed, refined, like fake meats. If you're going to go the vegetarian route, I would avoid the plant-based meat replacements. And stick for whole food sources of protein like quinoa, lentils, chickpeas, beans, hemp seeds, chia seeds, nuts, those kinds of things, because those will do better for you than the tofu and all of those things. Actually, tofu isn't terrible as far as plant-based sources go, but I am a huge proponent of animal-based proteins, because when we're talking about nutrient density, animal-based protein is just more nutrient dense. If you think about it, if you're stranded somewhere and you have to pick between, you're all out of food, you have to pick between a side of beef and a head of kale, like what's going to get you a bigger bang for your buck, right? It's going to be the beef, right? It's going to go a lot further. And like I said, I know that there are many reasons why people choose not to eat meat, and I'm not talking about those reasons. I'm talking purely from a scientific and nutritional standpoint. Animal-based is the way to go. So that is kind of wraps up what I wanted to talk about as far as the importance of protein and why you need it and how to get it. So I would love to answer some questions if anybody has any questions in here about how they can get it, or how much they need to be getting, or any other nutrition related questions that you might have. I'd be happy to take, 5 to 8 minutes or so and answer those questions for you. You can put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. Let's see. Okay, April. Oh, Christine. Okay.
So I understand the meat and love meat, but sometimes availability or just getting good sources is tough. So doing the best with that. But what would be like your second option? Like go to nuts or?
No, nuts have protein, but they're not a great source of protein. They're a better source of fat. They're a great source of fat. They do have some protein. It does not escape me that meat is wicked expensive right now. It's pricey. And then add on like sourcing like high quality beef, right? I totally get that. For me, I would much rather you eat conventional beef. If you can't get grass fed, I would much rather you still get your protein from conventional beef than from nuts, because you're just not going to get everything you need from nuts. You have to eat like mountains of nuts. One of the important aspects to getting enough protein is you really want to shoot for at least 30-gram boluses of protein, because that is the amount that is necessary to stimulate a process in your body called muscle protein synthesis. And so if you're getting less than that, you're probably not stimulating the muscle protein synthesis. As also nuts and other plant-based sources are not rich in something called leucine, which is one of the amino acids that is really what you need also for muscle protein synthesis. So when I talk about protein and getting enough, I'm talking about it from the perspective of being able to maintain and build more lean muscle mass. So that's the priority, because that's what contributes to your overall health and vitality and longevity. So obviously, if you can find Okay, so back to your question, Christine. No, I would truly prefer conventional meats. If you can't find grass-fed organic, um, to nothing at all and swapping it for a plant-based source. Obviously, conventional meats come with their own set of issues, but from a nutritional perspective, you're probably still better off getting that, getting conventional meats over, grass-fed, non-GMO. Now we do that when we can, but it's also very expensive. So obviously you can buy in bulk if you have a bulk store like Costco, or you can go and look and stock up when it's on sale. I buy a half a cow from a local farmer every year, and that keeps us stocked on beef. And there are a lot of places that you can look now for that. You can go to www.localharvest.org, and that will tell you where there are local farmers who are doing that. Hit up your local farmers markets whenever you can, and they will have some really good meats. And I would just stock up with as much locally sourced and get it on sale whenever you can. And then also, you can opt for ground cuts. Like if you're not buying a whole steak or a whole roast, ground beef is every bit as healthy, and just keep in mind that the higher the fat content. So if you're going with like an 80-20, that's going to have less protein than like a 95-5. All right. Who else has questions? Raise your hand or put it in the chat. You guys, I'm so sorry about these connection issues. Makes me want to stick something in my eye. All right. Any more questions in the chat? Have the chat up or hands raised? April, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I'm new to the whole protein shake stuff, and I finally got convinced to buy my own protein powder for smoothies. And I just bought it's plant-based, and it's a big container of it. And now I'm learning that. So is there something I can do more with it and still use it to get protein?
Again, I'm not saying
like to get my protein too.
So I'm not saying you can't use those things, right? It is important to consider. You want to look at overall protein consumed in a 24-hour period, right? So if you're doing a plant-based protein some of the time, that's okay. Like use the plant-based protein and enjoy it.
Okay.
And then I would say next time,
Okay.
protein powders. I'm a fan of that. Obviously, food first, right? Food is optimal to be able to get all of your nutrients from, but sometimes you can't, and sometimes you're on the go. And so I have a variety of protein powders that I keep with, in my pantry or whatever. And I shoot for whey protein. Why? Because it is the most bioavailable. A whey protein is. Often people who have dairy issues can still do a whey protein. Now, if you're lactose intolerant and you can't do dairy, then that's fine. But overall bioavailability based on amino acid content, whey protein takes the cake. It's just the best. So Young Living has our Pure Protein Complete chocolate and vanilla. There's one I like from Clean Simple Eats, because it comes in these little packets that you can put in your purse, and it's like 20 grams of protein. So if you need to go through the drive-through, grab a coffee, throw your protein in it, it's great. There's one from Costco that I like called Ascent, and it's a chocolate protein. And that is a great way to just bump up your protein. I love to mix protein in Greek yogurt. If you want a quick 40 grams of protein, get 1 serving of Greek yogurt, throw in a scoop of protein powder, and mix in some frozen berries. And it's like cake batter, you guys. It's so delicious. I do that all the time. You get the phytonutrients and antioxidants from the berries. I've even mixed my ningxia in there before. So if you're looking for more creative ways to get your ningxia in, that 12 ounces that we're in right now, put 2 ounces in your yogurt with your protein powder. It's so tasty. It's so good. You can always put your ningxia in your protein smoothies. A lot of people ask about collagen as a protein source. Collagen is a type of protein. It is not a complete protein. Collagen is not for muscle building and repair. Collagen is for structural function, hair, skin, nails, connective tissue. Does that answer your question about the plant-based protein? Use it, enjoy it, and then next time, buy away. Buy away protein. All right, let's see. List the names of other protein powders. The packet ones I use, Julie, are from Clean Simple Eats. In here, it says, is there a chart that helps us know how much protein is in different meat? Well, no. However, I will tell you guys, if you go follow me on Instagram at Rooted Life Wellness, I'll put that in the chat. I have, in just a few days, I am publishing a complete guide to nourishing your body with protein. And that is going to have a lot of the information that we talked about today, plus a whole lot more. Plus, I'm going to give you a chart with all of the protein sources listed and how much they have for quick reference. Plus, I give you 5 each breakfast, lunches, and dinners with at least 30 grams of protein. Remember, that's the amount that you need to trigger muscle protein synthesis, and high protein snack ideas. And this is the kicker, a 7-day sample meal plan of what it looks like to eat at least 100 grams of protein a day. Okay. So sometimes you just need it spelled out. So that will be available within the next few days. And so if you want to get that, just head over and follow me on Instagram and I'll post it. I'll share it whenever it's ready. Okay. So let's see. Any more questions? Who has questions? Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away or raise your hand. Okay. Oh, Kelly Jones says she just downloaded my free meal planning guide. Oh, my free Real Food Kitchen guide. Yes. So I have a guide on my Instagram that is free, that you can download, that is basically a checklist of all of the things that I keep in my kitchen to make it so that I always have what I call back pocket recipes that I can prepare. And if, at any given moment, if my meal plan falls through, like it did the other day, I always have the ingredients that I need stocked in my kitchen. Thanks, Kelly. Miss Kelly Jones. Okay, if nobody else has any more questions, then I will hang this up. I am so sorry about the connection issues, you guys. I don't know what happened. If this was totally like unlistenable, maybe I just go live in the Facebook group and do it all over again. So you guys will have to let me know. Oh, good, Christine. I'm glad that you learned a lot. I love teaching about protein because it really moves the needle. You guys, protein really moves the needle on your nutrition and your wellness in general. It is something that if you focus on, oh, you know what? One more thing I should say, if you have never tracked your protein intake, it is wise to do so that you can get a feel for how much you're actually getting. There are a number of apps that you can use to track. I use MyFitnessPal. There's a free version of that. You can use Chronometer, which is a little bit more advanced. You can use one called Lose It. But I really like MyFitnessPal, and it's helpful just to see, don't do it for the calories or anything like that. It's helpful just to see how much protein you're getting in your day. And then there you can start from there, because I think a lot of people really overestimate the amount that they're getting and underestimate the amount of carbohydrates that they're eating. So yeah. Okay. Well, I think, oh, good. You're welcome, Deandra. Lisa says a redo would be great. Video and sound keeps freezing. I'm so sorry. Yes, please do follow me over on Instagram. I share all kinds of things about protein over there, a ton. That's like the majority of the content I share. All right, Nicola, I'm sorry, it was hard to understand. Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining and sticking with me. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you over on my Instagram.